We've had such an incredible lineup of guests so far, and it continues on. So just a little bit of an intro. Black Tech Fest 24 is Europe's largest technology and cultural festival, celebrating innovation, inclusion in the UK tech industry and beyond. I want to say a quick thank you to our headline sponsors. We've got Google sponsoring today, and also for accessibility, we've got JP Morgan Chase. Now, I appreciate you guys coming all the way over here to have a little listen. I know it's a quite busy festival. I know it's lunchtime as well, so you're probably a bit hungry. But we've got a really great panel coming up for you. The main aim of this festival is to celebrate Black culture, to celebrate innovation, to showcase underrepresented talent in technology. And also, more importantly, to encourage more people in the community to step into tech and to come to events like this where you can network. You never know, you might meet somebody that can help you in your business, in your career. So this is the place to be. Next up, we have the Strategic AI Leader panel, and I'm going to introduce our very first guest, which is our moderator, Yvette, who's partner at PwC. Come onto the stage, Yvette. Can we give her a warm welcome, please? Looking fabulous, loving that jacket. If you just pop take a seat here for me. After Yvette, I'm going to invite onto the stage Brian Barron, who's VP Data and Analytics at EA. A round of applause for him, please. Let's give them all a warm welcome. It's not the day job getting up on stage speaking, so it's nice to anywhere you want, Brian. You take wherever it hits your fancy. Next up, we've got the lovely Ivy, who is the Senior Vice President, Corporate Strategy and Operations at Twilio. Loving these outfits, ladies. Sorry, Brian. I'm just bigging up the ladies today. They're going all out. Next up, we've got Shekhar, who is Principal Engineer at GitLab. Welcome him onto the stage. And last but by no means least, we have Leila, who is the Chief Data Officer at Digitas. I'm going to leave you to enjoy your panel, and please keep staying over here because we've got so much more to offer for the rest of the day. Over to you.
Thank you. So, all right. Look at the sea of melanin. I am loving all of this. So, good afternoon, everybody. So this panel is going to be engaging. It's going to be fun, relative questions that impact every single one of you that you'll find interesting. And we're going to have a little fun along the way. So, before we jump into all the questions, I kind of want to help set the stage. So we're living in a time where AI is no longer some futuristic concept. It's actually embedded into the fabric of everything we kind of do and how we operate. But AI's impact goes far beyond the tools and technologies that we implement. It's way more than that. It's fundamentally changing the way we lead. AI and generative AI is going to I don't want to say catastrophically, but it's going to change the way that the world works. I'm not talking about cloud transformation and digital. I'm talking about industry, world changing, like how fire and electricity change the way we operate today, right? Like flip on the light switch is there, no one's running around trying to get the candle, right? AI is going to do something very, very, very much larger than that. So as leaders, we had this tried and true playbook on how we lead, and we relied on that. And we've been doing that for years. But things are changing, and we need to change the way that we lead. And now, as leaders, we have to be able to lead our organizations and lead our teams to be able to change at speed, complexity, and all the questions that AI introduces. So it's not just about adopting. It's about adapting ourselves, our leadership styles, and how our organizations can actually harness the potential of AI for good. So AI is transforming decision-making, it's redefining our roles, and it's elevating everyone's expectations at every single level, from the first job, entry-level employee, all the way up to leadership, all the way up through our board of directors. But here's the crux. AI is not something that you set it and forget it. It's not that type of technology. It challenges us to be more adaptable, more collaborative, and dare I say, more human. and how we lead. So my panelists today, this question is for each and every one of you. Starting right now, how has AI, if at all, changed leadership for you in your recent years? And I'm going to start with my brother over here to my left.
Put me on the spot, huh?
Sure did.
Okay. All right, I'll take it. Well, first I want to say it's a real pleasure to be here and see all these beautiful black faces at Black Tech Fest. So I'm excited to be here. I'm coming from the Bay Area, California. So thank you for having me. So how has leadership changed? I think that a lot of leaders are operating through an era of fostering rapid change and creativity that's really a function of a changing environment and the way that we work. And AI is one of the tools that's helping us iterate more quickly and helping us make decisions at a rapid pace and speed that we've not been accustomed to in the past. Generally, the way we think about data in the pre-AI era is you have to pull together from your vastly different data sources and aggregate all of this information to try to come up with insights that helps facilitate decision making at a fast pace, and that's much slower without the onset of these AI technologies. But now we have the ability to make decisions much more quickly, and that helps drive speed of decision making and evolve the way that we think about how we operate in our business. So it's having a pretty big impact.
Okay. And I'm going to move it over to you. What about you? How has AI changed your leadership, if any, in the recent years?
Well, whoa, that loud mic. Well, for us at Twilio, so first off, hi, Ivy Grant, Senior Vice President of Corporate Strategy and Operations at Twilio. My family thinks I work at Twitter. So Twilio is a company that combines AI, communications, and contextual data to help other companies build closer relationships with their brands. So we help you create better customer experience. And so what Twilio's main focus right now is, given how challenging it has been in the CPaaS industry, we are really focused on growth and we're focused on profitability and trying to do those two things at the same time. And AI really helps us manage that balance, because on the growth side, you can find better and more high quality customers. You can figure out if that customer is qualified faster, and you can do it without any human intervention. And on the cost side, both from the customer support side, but also internally, you can remove a lot of repetitive tasks, a lot of manual work that otherwise takes a long time that you can do in days instead of months. And so for us, using AI both as a lead generation and sales piece, as well as internally, has been incredibly important.
All right. So I'm going to move back to my left, and I'm going to now ask Leila, how has AI changed your leadership style over the years, or even has it?
Thank you. Oh yeah, it does give you a kick, doesn't it? I'm Leila. I'm Chief Data Officer at a company called Digitas. It's part of Publicis Group, the world's biggest media advertising and communications company. We ultimately sell really smart people doing things. And I think the thing that's been so transformative for us is that my role and my responsibility and remit was very much around the AI, the data science, and the data space, but as it pertained to kind of that capability and what we sold. And now AI is fundamentally part of everything that we do. And so it's been really transformative for us as an organization and an industry, but then also my remit and role and responsibility has massively expanded in the last year and a half, which has been incredibly exciting, but a pretty significant kind of responsibility to take on. And it's really been, how do we leverage and use AI in a way that it's a tool, a partner to people, but not in a way where it is threatening or changing what we're delivering, and ultimately, I guess, replacing. There's a lot of fear in my industry around, will AI come for creative? Will AI come for my job? And ultimately, it's not there and it won't be there, but it's very much a tool that we can use to be better and to free up some of the time to do the real interesting work that I think gets a lot of us really excited, be it in the creative space, in the technology space, in the kind of media space, any of that. And so that kind of evolution in the last year and a half has been exciting, transformative, but also just a privilege to be at the front of it.
Nice. And last but not least, from GitLab? Shekhar, like, how has leadership changed for you in the realm of AI, if it has at all?
Yeah, thank you. Wow, it does have a kick. I think, first of all, I'm Shekhar. I'm a principal engineer at GitLab. And GitLab is really in the DevOps space. And DevOps has been completely disrupted by AI. It's completely changed over the last 2 years, ever since generative AI started off in a big way. And so for us, really, we've been thinking about, and fundamental to leadership still remain the same. However, I think you need to think about things in a whole new way. So first of all, we've been thinking about how to empower teams, and it's been all about figuring out what tasks you can automate, as Ivy said, but also saving that time and giving employees the ability to be more creative, be more innovative in this space. And so that's what we've been doing. We've been allowing people to do hackathons and all sorts of things to really experiment with AI, come up with ideas and implement them. We want to go, as fast as possible to market, and that's really the plan we've implemented. And the other thing, what Leila spoke about, is about human-centric design. It's really about how we partner with AI and how we augment human with AI. So it's all about when it's really interesting that we always need humans in the loop, always, to make sure that we have human judgment, we're being compliant and regulatory and all of that.
I think that's really, really, really important. And I would just like to add one thing. You can be super, super smart, brilliant, but a machine, an algorithm, will always be smarter. And you can be a smart programmer, you can be a smart leader. There's always going to be something smarter than you that is going to be a machine. However, we need leaders who are wise, because you could be a smart leader, there's always going to be a smarter chip, but if you are a wise leader that leads with your heart, that's one thing that an algorithm will never have. That algorithm will always have a chip, but us wise leaders will always have heart. So, I'm off my soapbox. Okay, off to our next question. So, AI strategies. So, they can't be made in isolation. You can't have a team of one that decides the roadmap for the whole entire organization, right? So, as enterprise AI leaders, now we realize that for longer-term AI success, we need an effective strategy that combines data and AI to ensure that AI enters through the right door. So, bring your own AI, that ain't a strategy, okay? But building a successful AI roadmap requires the voices of many, from the C-suite, from our teams on the ground, and of course, our customers who feel that direct impact. So, I'm going to ask Leila. Leila, how do you bring your stakeholders into the fold, ensuring that AI doesn't remain a top-down mandate, but it involves a shared vision? And then also, how do you involve stakeholders in shaping your organization's AI strategy?
So I think the first thing to be really clear on is that you cannot have an AI strategy that isn't aligned to the strategy of the organization. And if you don't start with what your business is trying to achieve, your AI strategy is ultimately always going to be useless and ineffective. So starting with what is the ultimate goals of my business, but then also laddering that up to the group level. And so that includes, how does this work for shareholders as well? Once you have that, it's a matter of looking at what does it mean for individuals in their roles and responsibilities. So we went through the process of going, what does AI look like to a creative? What does AI look like for a strategist, for a media buyer, for an analyst, for a data scientist? And what are the tools that are going to be relevant for them? And how are they going to be able to adapt their roles to be effective with this new kind of partner? And ultimately what we found was, as part of this process, you almost have to build the solution for the person that is furthest from wanting to adapt to AI, because there's always going to be people that don't really want to change what they're doing, and they really like the older, traditional way of doing it. They're stuck in their ways. So building and kind of coming up with what's the value for absolutely everyone and starting with the person that really doesn't want to adapt to it from the bottom and building it for them. So that's how we went, top and bottom.
All right, that sounds good. That sounds good. And there's another thing. So when we talk about like your AI strategy and your business strategy, so that really means like, what is your data strategy?
Yeah.
Like
Very
your
true.
strategy, if it doesn't have anything to do with data, your business strategy is kind of going to be like it's not going to be there, because what is AI driven off of? It's data and metadata. So how do you want to use that data to enable the outcomes that you want to produce for your customers or for your company or the revenue targets or whatever? It's all going to be born from data. So if y'all don't understand your data and you don't have a strategy that's based on your data, it's going to be tough. So anyway, so Ivy, I'm going to ask you the same
No, I was going to say, I think what Leila pointed out about the top-down and bottom-up process is exactly what we're doing at Twilio as well. And there's a way that we're thinking about it that's slightly different. We're thinking about, well, first, people go to a replacement for AI first. And so I think the first thing we wanted to do was test tools that were AI as partnership versus AI as replacement. So before you start trying to figure out how to get rid of certain tasks or even people, we've started with using tools for AI for software development. So how does a software developer sort of start to drive code, writing code faster? So we have a tool that they use that's a co-pilot so that they can code faster and use more reviewing as opposed to writing, right? Because they can put in a set of prompts that actually help them do it. So then if they can be more successful, then suddenly the AI becomes less of a threat to them and feels more like something that they can partner with to become more successful. So we're doing the similar thing on the side with our sales teams. We're starting with the idea of co-pilots. So if you're going to be a seller in the organization and you've got a large number of customers in your territory, how do we use AI to create all of your outbound emails, all of your communications that are pretty static that you would normally do on a regular basis to sort of drum up an interest in a conversation while you're doing the value add conversations in a customer's room, going out and kind of walking the halls at your customers, that sort of work that's less value add to you, but is more manual and easy and repetitive, is being done for you. So then your salespeople don't feel like they're still making their quotas and they're making their quotas faster. So then they're thinking to themselves, oh, this is actually super helpful for me. So I think that concept of AI as a co-pilot, as a partner, versus AI as a replacement for you is the first strategy, is the first way to go in. And then the other thing I would say is we take a very big test and learn perspective, because you're not going to throw this out there to all of your salespeople at once. You're going to do small pilots, you're going to do proof of concepts, and you're going to see how it works so that then you can develop a playbook for the rest of your teams to uptake it.
All right. You want to jump in? You want to add one?
Yeah, I thought that was a tremendous answer. Not a whole lot to add here. I think that what Leila said, it has to start from the top down. Your business strategy is what's going to drive your AI strategy. And I didn't mention this before, should have when I introduced myself, but I work at Electronic Arts, and so we're in the business of making video games. And so it's this intersection of technology and entertainment that is Electronic Arts is what we do. And making more immersive and personalized gaming experiences is what we're here for. And so AI as a tool to help accelerate that process, to make it easier to get to this multi-year journey to create a great game. It takes years to create a great game. And so if what we're doing isn't helping either accelerate that process or make it easier to develop that game, and then so we could shift our work into making it more creative and creating a more adaptive experience, then we're doing the wrong thing. But that comes to life in pockets of innovation across your company. There are people in legal and marketing and financial departments in your company testing tools in AI to make their work faster and more efficient. And ultimately, all of those things start to show up at scale to make better games for your players. And so that's how it works for us.
Yes. And then I don't want to leave you out, Shekhar. Anything you want to add that our other panelists may have not covered for you from your point?
They've covered most of what I had to say. But one new lens that we've got here is because we build AI-powered products. I think one really important thing is to get customers in really early when it comes to this. It's really about doing lots of customer interviews, and we've learned a lot from our customers. we've learned so much about what works, what does not. We've actually discarded products really early after showing prototypes to customers. We've never done that before. We usually build a product and then show it to customers. Now we're showing early prototypes, ideas, really involving them early on in the process. And that's really been important. And the other thing is around teams, because we build products, we dog food products a lot. And so it's been great to crowdsource ideas from our own internal teams across the organization as well. So that's
Your response, your thoughts ties in perfectly to the third question that I have. So, of course we have strategy is one thing, but what about the results, right? We so often hear like the promise of AI, but let's get real and have some real talk. It's all about, most enterprises are fixed on, my AI return on investment, and thinking like, they'll probably scale back some of that because they're not seeing the ROI that they are anticipating, right? Buzzword bingo, AI, let's throw AI at it, let's wait for the money. Nah, that's not happening. So even though enterprises we're seeing that, right? Enterprises are achieving improved customer experience, employee and productivity increases, right? And some new revenue streams around AI use. But I predict that a reset is underway. And I'm going to tell y'all why. Because in most obvious cases, enterprises have experienced in the last year the use cases that they have created or have on their list of use cases have already been baked in, are table stakes, and already been baked into some of those software programs that they currently use. So now AI leaders are realizing, they're like, AI investment, AI ROI investments are now going to take us a little bit longer than anticipated, and now are shifting toward pragmatically looking at how can we deliver ROI over time. And that dovetails directly into what Shekhar shared, because there is a study by Forrester, their pulse survey that just came out for a Q2 of this year. Over 49% of the United States Gen AI leader decision makers, they expect their investments on the ROI investments on AI within the first 1 to 2 years, while another 44% said 3 to 5 years. So Shekhar shared that his team, they're showing customers early instead of building the whole thing and they're saying like, yeah, nah, that ain't gonna work. Now earlier, using generative AI, they can get something, the concept, the idea, really rough, show, and then invest further to take that to production. So my question is, and I'm gonna go, Leila. So how do you measure success for your AI initiatives, and what metrics do you show your investments for emerging tech that are just not innovative, but actually delivering measurable ROI?
I think so. I was tasked from my CEO to improve operational efficiency throughout the business, which is a really chunky and woolly task to give someone. And she said, look, I need to know that we're doing things faster, better, cheaper through AI, because that is table stakes for our industry. To your point completely. But it's exceptionally difficult to measure saving something that you haven't done, because we effectively sell people. So how do you start to measure getting to an idea faster? How do you start to measure a better creative output when it's a big creative idea, not necessarily like a single asset, a bit of content? So we went really low tech with our solution, and we went, okay, everyone that's using AI will take a small group to the point around testing, not everyone. We want you to fill out statements at the end of every week while you're betaing using AI in partnership. And so for a strategist, that looked like, I used ChatGPT this week to come up with some ideas for a strategy. Last week it took me 3 hours. This week it took me an hour and a half. Creative team. I used this week DALL-E to have some brainstorming ideas around some creative, and I managed to get to a mock-up in a day, and last week it took me 3. And we aggregated that over a couple of months, and that's how we got to a quantifiable difference in the way in which people were approaching things, as opposed to, I think, the kind of larger organizations where they're able to implement. I'd be curious to hear how the other panelists have done it, implement kind of enterprise-wide technology that perhaps gets you to an ROI that's much chunkier or much more measurable. But for us, we went low-tech, and it's working for us, and that's how we've done it.
You don't always need a Maserati. A hoopty can get you to work just as fast. Ivy, I'm going to ask you the same question.
I'm sorry, I was thinking about my hoopty. So look, I think the measures and the KPIs haven't changed. I think the focus has changed. Because when we particularly think about the products that we have that are customer facing for AI, we used to be thinking to ourselves, what we're trying to measure is whether or not this AI is serviceable. Is it at parity with the human experience that the customer used to have? And so we were just looking for, does it work? Are customers dropping out faster because of the AI that we've involved? Now we're saying we know that those things are true. So our next thing is, now if you have a superhero at your disposal, we now are stopping to compare the superhero to a regular person. Now you have to compare your superhero to other superheroes. So what are the superhuman strengths? It's got to not just be faster, but it's got to make better decisions. So now we're looking to try to figure out how to make better decisions faster with those things. And that means that the kinds of metrics that you're looking for are not just whether or not the customer was satisfied, but is there long-term value? Do we see that there's loyalty and retention? Do we see that those customers had such a good experience that they're more likely to tell a friend about you? So those longer-term loyalty-driven customer metrics are becoming more important for AI than before, because before it was just, is it as good as a human was? And now it's got to be better than a human. It's got to create a longer-term experience that is so engaging and so delightful that that customer actually wants to be a longer-term customer with you.
All right, so I know we're running out of time, and we could be on here until the 5th of February because this is a really great conversation. So I'm going to ask each one of our panelists to give me a one-word answer in response to this question, and then we're going to wrap it up. So find us out here. We're all here all day. Well, I'm here all day. I came in from New York for y'all. So I don't know everybody. I see a whole sea of brown people. You know what I look like. Fabulous. So come find me. Let's have a chat, right? Let's get some coffee or something, right? So, okay, so here's the question, right? So success in AI doesn't just happen. It takes deliberative steps. So let's wrap up about, there's one. Each leader here, answer me with one question. What is a tangible step that a senior leader can take to ensure that their organizations are just not adopting AI, but truly leveraging it to drive innovation, stay competitive, and make real impact? So what's this one word that we can add to our playbook for AI leadership in 2024 and beyond? Let's start on this end and go all the way in, and then we'll be like, peace out. Leila.
It's hard. I'm going to say to understand it. Really understand what AI is. Not the bullshit buzzword. Sorry, I'm Australian. I swear a lot.
Me too. No buzzword bingo. Like, look, you need to understand it. It's not just a buzzword. Like, do you know what this thing really does?
Exactly.
Bria.
Experiment.
Yes.
Very important.
I'm a builder.
Test and fail.
Fail fast, fail fast, fail fast. Just tells you that shit don't work. Move on to the next. Ivy.
Hypothesis test.
Oh.
There's a hyphen in there. There's a hyphen.
I'll count that. I think that's good.
All right. And Shekhar, you?
I would say tie AI to your goals and your mission. It's really important to have AI in your DNA.
I will add one last thing, and that is there are tons of people that look like us that don't live in data sets. Be inclusive. Ask questions. Who ain't here? Because I can tell you, the people that look like us in these huge data sets that organizations are using, we ain't in there. Because there's just something as a digital divide. Just because you got a mobile phone, don't mean you got the right infrastructure and broadband to engage, to be included in these data sets that these organizations are using to build shit at scale. Yeah, I said shit. To build shit at scale that impact our community. So, ask the question, who ain't here? Be inclusive. Am I at time? Are you gonna be? I'm at time. They're kicking us off. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, my panel.
Thank you.
Our panelists.
Pleasure.
Thank you.